Okay, and that was Bobby Tarantino 3 from Logic.
Well, so much for that, eh? Atty's Territory Squad, I'm your host, Harvey Green, and welcome back to X Territory. No, not dead, never dead. Yes, I look like a corpse. Shut up. Now, as most people can assume based on my intro, I've recently had plans to do more reaction videos, specifically one to Logic's Bobby Tarantino 3 EP, which I have done my review for. It is here. These are my thoughts on it. I felt like if I did release it, it would have been a release at a point where it's like, who even cared anymore? So I decided, why even release it at this point? It's not going to get finished in time. So, ripped that idea, and I had no clue what to release. Until drama came back. More pointless drama from the Eminem community. Shouldn't we be happy? No. So all that being said, pretty much what happened recently was, in a recent interview, Tyler the Creator came around bashing Eminem. Now, did he really bash him though? Well, not entirely. Allow me to quote exactly what he said, my dear friends. Marshall got too good that it's like gross. Like too technical and good that it's like, bro, we can't even fathom this. Stop. Now, off a first glance, when you read this, you'd probably think, well, yeah, that's mean. Why is he saying that about Eminem? But let's reread that, shall we?
Marshall got too good that it's like gross. Like too technical and good that it's like, bro, we can't even fathom this. Stop.
Is there anything in this sentence that's really saying Eminem is shit? No. He isn't really saying anything negative towards Eminem. It's more just general criticism, more than anything else. I'd love to talk about what Tyler says in more depth, but that's going to come off in the third part of this video, and if you want to see that, just click this part of the video. You could just skip all the way there. Before I get to that bit, I'm talking about two specific individuals who, of course, have mentioned Tyler's little words and took it in a way which is not how it should be taken. Ladies and gentlemen, Stevie Knight and Knox Hill. Can you see his face? I don't think you can. Now, Stevie Knight and Knox Hill are both huge reaction channels when it comes to the hip-hop community. They talk about rappers and break down their bars, and they're both very good at it, especially Knox. I really recommend you checking them both out. However, at the same time, I feel like they've addressed this situation in a poor way, and I'd like to talk about their videos and discuss what I felt they got wrong. And to start off and keep things short, I will be talking about Stevie Knight. Without further ado, let's begin the commentary.
He's trying to start shit. He's trying to start shit, right? He has to be.
No. He really isn't.
Because he just contradicted the hell out of himself. He contradicted the out of himself. Wayne has gotten technically better over the years. Jay-Z has gotten technically better over the years. And it's just so dope watching them age and get better as they get older. Bro, dog, you contradicting yourself, bro, because Eminem is the epitome of that, how a rapper who keeps flooding the industry with music and continues to turn the dial as far as what you can do with this hip hop.
Did he really though? His point was Lil Wayne has improved in a good way. Eminem improved in a bad way. That's not really contradicting yourself. He enjoys seeing Lil Wayne constantly get better and improve from his old days. So musically and lyrically, he's gone to a whole new level. The thing with M is that, yes, lyrically he's improved, but the way he's improved, it's like, it's not musical. It's just pure rap. Like, from a standpoint of rappers, yes, obviously he's impressive. There's no denying his insane ability. That can't be denied. But when you listen to it, it's like, is this necessary? He's trying hard to be so technical and advanced. Like, he's that good. It's like, the music doesn't matter. It's hard to listen to. It's hard to comprehend. It's almost like he's doing too much in a way. Now, as somebody who loves hip-hop, that's perfectly fine by me. I love that type of stuff. But from an overall standpoint, the fact he's turning heads because they don't understand what he's doing, people, like, struggle to keep up with it. It's like, is that really a good thing? Yes, objectively, what he's doing is brilliant, But there's also the general audience. You need to think of the general audience. They're not going to understand what he's doing. It's like you look at a Picasso painting. Yes, it's art, but not everyone gets it. It's weird. Like, why should they care? That's the thing I think Tyler's trying to get here.
I don't really think he believes what he just said.
As someone who knows Tyler very often, I can tell you he's very blunt with his opinions. He doesn't hold back his feelings. Trust me. Tyler definitely believes what he says. And if we're being honest, if someone doesn't believe what they say, they wouldn't f***ing say it.
I think he's just trying to take shots at M.
Not really.
Because they got some shit, right?
That's technically true, but at the same time, it's not. They kind of dropped that whole thing, and the reason behind it was Eminem felt disrespected and felt like he had to say something at that point. Tyler just accepted what M said and moved on, and M apologized. So if anybody really has anything, it's M. It's just Tyler voicing his own opinion. It's not really a big problem.
What I don't want to happen, I do not want to happen. What does it matter at the end of the day? At the end of the day, as long as you got people out here continuing to say your name, you maintain relevance. Even though Eminem maintains relevance as soon as he drops some shit.
Well, considering Eminem is the biggest rapper of all time, it'd be hard for him not to be relevant. I feel like Tyler saying something doesn't really keep him more relevant. It's just him saying it. I feel no need to talk about this part of the video.
I don't want people to be influenced by the bullshit that this man is spewing, dog.
Dude, it's Tyler the Creator talking about Eminem. I think a lot more people are going to be inspired by Eminem himself than what someone else like Tyler says. Now, bear in mind, Tyler is a big public figure. Of course, people are going to be influenced by him. But that's his biggest fans who will follow Tyler no matter what the hell he says, and that's just to be expected of any fanboy. Even Eminem's own fan base still attacks MGK to this day. It's not a big deal.
Too technical, whatever the dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be trying to minimize what the hell Eminem is doing with his pen, bro.
How on earth is saying that somebody is too good with their pen minimizing them?
Don't be trying to minimize what the Eminem is doing with his pen, dog, because you can't do a lot of out here can't do it. Don't be minimizing trying to talk shit.
You're really using the jealousy argument? Come on, man. Really? Tyler is not jealous of Eminem's pen game. He has his own entire style beyond that.
And if that type of rap ain't for you, don't listen to that fucking rap.
Don't listen is a flawed argument. You don't know that you don't like something until you listen to it. It's that simple.
Eminem is doing his due diligence to keep this hip-hop shit alive. That is for hip-hop heads only.
That is technically true, but at the same time, you can't really command who listens to what. Anyone can listen to anything.
If you feel dumb listening to it, do not listen to it, bruh.
Tyler's point wasn't, oh no, it's too complex for my PB brain. His point was, hey, M, you're a bit too complex, homie. You think you could tone it down a little bit?
Don't come up here talking about too technical, motherfuckers can't fathom. That's the whole point, dog. That's what Eminem's trying to do. He's trying to cripple your brain with his words, bruh. That's his agenda, dog. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to fuck you up. What? How the did he think of that, bro? That's the whole point.
Just because that's the intention doesn't exactly make it a good thing.
Eminem's hip-hop ain't meant for regular folk at this point in his career, dog. It ain't.
That is also true. Eminem doesn't make it for the casual audience. That's it. That's an agreeable point. Moving on.
That's all bullshit that he just talking about. He just trying to hate, trying to spew some hatred, and I hope Eminem cut his head off again, dog.
Tyler isn't hating on him, he's criticizing him. He has an opinion on M and he's going to share it. Everyone has their own opinions. Also, wanting M to tear off Tyler's head? Really? That's just rude.
I thought they squashed whatever the it is that they was talking about, dog. Why the you don't say some shit like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, they have squashed their beef. It's not there anymore. Tyler's just voicing an opinion.
Bruh, as technical as Eminem is, who's selling the most records? Who's still selling the most records?
A technical argument could be made for Drake, but technically, yes, it is still Eminem, so, why not?
What did Music to Be Murdered By do, unit-wise? I couldn't even tell you off the top of my head, but I bet it's doing more than what the Tyler's doing, even though Tyler dropped. I know he's smoking but it ain't compared to what the fuck Eminem doing.
Yes, what Tyler is doing is impressive, but he's not comparing to Eminem. That's same with every other artist in general. I don't see how that's a point.
This is old Eminem now too, bro. Tyler, you in your prime, you in your stride, dog. Don't come out here talking shit, dog.
Technically, Tyler's prime was in Wolf, but you know what? Why not?
At the end of the day, bro, it's all cap. That come from a hateful place.
No, it doesn't. It comes from a critical place. How is that so hard to understand?
It ain't for you. Don't listen to it. Hip hop heads only, dog. Get out of here. All right, I'm out.
Stevie, I see a lot of your points, and I understand exactly why you're annoyed. I mean, there are so many people who go at Eminem nowadays, but trust me, Tyler is not one of those people. There's a big difference between saying Eminem is whack or saying, yeah, I think you should tone it down a little. Pretty big difference. This isn't Gucci Mane, man. This is not Gucci Mane. That being said, though, you're not alone, Stevie. There are other people who get offended by basic opinions. Knox, step up to the plate, homie.
These are now the infamous words of Tyler, the Creator. He went on an interview on NYC's Hot 97 and decided, yeah, you know what? Today's the day I'm going to throw a little bit of shade at some of the greats.
Once again, he wasn't throwing shade at Eminem. He was just spinning an opinion on him based on his other opinions on Lil Wayne and Jay-Z. That's not really throwing shade. I swear, I'm the only person who understands what dissing is nowadays.
His commentary and critique on Eminem is the same critique that we're getting a lot of now, especially on M's recent track that he did with Nas. What amazes me was some of the comments from people going, M's last scheme, which to me was just so technically superior and just absolutely on another level of mastercraft. People somehow said that he was off beat. No. What you need to do is get off of the iPad and beat it with social media, because mom and dad are getting tired of paying your network charges for saying absolute bullshit.
No, I personally haven't heard EPMD2. I have not listened to Nas's new album. I plan to, though, in the future. I can't really say anything about this point. I have heard many other Eminem verses, however, other than EPMD2, which do seem a little sometimes. But I do realize, as someone who does study a lot of the genre myself, that yes, he is not off beat, he's doing other stuff. I'm fully aware of Eminem's skill, and I'm sure Tyler is as well, but the thing for Tyler is he's one of the audience who looks at it as, yes, it's clearly advanced. That doesn't change the fact that it sounds off.
If you gave that beat, that EPMD2 beat, to 100 rappers, I guarantee you, 99 of them would not find the rhythm and flow pocket that Eminem found on that. And this is something he's excelling at and really doing later on in life now with his craft. He is just finding such unique flows and such unique rhythms. And to me, it's just something that, yeah, it's visionary almost. I mean, this is the type of stuff that other rappers will start to pick up on, and they'll start doing it.
That is true. Undeniably, he is very visionary. He's doing insane abilities. Like I said before, it's like Picasso. He's obviously doing something weird, but it's undeniably artistic. But like I said with Picasso earlier, just because it's artistic doesn't mean everyone's going to understand. Some people will look at it and be like, is it really art though? Is it really?
10 to 15 years from now, when we look back on this moment in time, we will truly appreciate what M has done with his craft.
Yes, undeniably, we are going to look back at Eminem. I mean, he is obviously one of the greatest rappers alive. In my mind, I think he is undeniably the greatest rapper alive. What he's done is phenomenal. But at the same time, just because you're great doesn't mean you don't have haters. Everyone has someone who dislikes them. Eminem is unfortunately one of those people, and unfortunately has it worse than most artists.
See, Eminem in earlier days, what I appreciated was he would take beats a lot of times and he would like hone in on an instrument sound. Like Toy Soldiers, for instance. He just gets with that marching snare and just locks in to that rhythmic pattern, and it's so good. And what he's doing now in later days is, instead of kind of picking instruments and honing in on those sounds and following along, he's now basically taking his vocal cords and his voice and turning that into an instrument in and of itself.
That's true. That's pretty much how Eminem rolls. Long ago, when he started out, he rapped like, you know, most general rappers. Yes, his flow was obviously good, but it's more like a controlled type flow. Obviously, he follows the instruments, he follows the beat. He does all that stuff like most rappers nowadays, or back in the day, normally would do. That's just what it is. And of course, when it fits the beat, naturally, it's attractive to an audience. It's something they love to hear. Nowadays, yes, he treats his voice like an instrument of its own, but it doesn't connect to the beat. When it doesn't connect to the beat, the audience is less confused. There's no symmetry. They're going to think, what is this? And yes, objectively, like I said, it's artistic, it's objectively brilliant, but from a sound standpoint, for some people, they don't understand that. And that's why it is a risky move. For hip-hop heads, of course, it's brilliant. There's no skill better than that. But when you're someone who doesn't understand what he's doing, you're not going to understand what he's doing. It doesn't seem brilliant to you. It just seems... It's that kind of thing. It's not that hard to understand. And the same for Tyler. Obviously, he does get what Em's doing. That doesn't change the fact that he doesn't like the sound of it. It's that simple.
Honestly, there's an infinite amount of ways that we can approach it. And me as a listener who always listens to hip hop, who has listened to it for years, I'm getting tired of hearing the same rappers use the same type of flows over the same types of schemes.
That's fine. Maybe you do. Tyler's not that type of artist, clearly.
I mean, come on, Tyler. Somebody's still a little bit hurt that he got shade thrown at by Shady.
Tyler was not hurt by what Eminem said. In fact, when he first addressed it, he didn't even seem to care.
I mean, how can you tell a great to stop evolving? I mean, it blows my mind, really. The whole reason that they're great and that they're at the top of their game is because they have that hunger. They have that drive and that motivation and the courage and the balls to try new things and to really just hone their craft and constantly keep developing.
He didn't tell him to stop evolving. He told him to tone it down. It's that simple. It's perfectly fine to have a drive to be the best, but at the same time, with M, when he ascended to such a level where it's pretty much, there's no more musical filter, it's like, you could tone it down a little bit, right?
If Eminem was making the same stuff and we got old Eminem, the way he used to follow things, people would get tired of it.
Either that or he'd be cancelled.
Everything is so fast-paced and fast-moving. You have to constantly adapt with the times. You have to keep evolving and keep honing your craft. And we're all of a sudden going to knock Eminem because he's too good now? Because he's too superior?
He's not knocking him. He's saying, dude, tone it down. How hard is this to understand?
Oh, I just want to vibe with my music. Come on now. You can still have hooks that bang. You can still have beats that are amazing. I mean, look at Zeus. Look at Darkness. Look at some of the things that M is doing. But you can still bring the lyricism.
Yes, that's perfectly true. Once again, it's an agreeable point. What am I meant to say?
You know, me as a listener, it might be a little weird for some of you to hear. I just don't want to vibe out all the time. I like to have brain cells that function and that work. And sometimes it's fun being challenged. I
don't know about anyone watching this, but I've really struggled to understand the tone of this line. I can't tell if he's trying to be antagonistic towards Tyler or if he's just trying to say, I like music that gets my brain turning. I think it'd be easier to say, I like music that gets my head spinning. I like to really try and think about the music that I'm listening to. I like music that makes me think a lot harder. That type of stuff. Whereas saying I like brain cells that function feels more like you're stupid. I'm not sure if that's the intention here, Knox, but you can correct me. If you're not trying to be antagonistic, that's perfectly fine, but not everyone likes that music. And of course, if it was the intention, fuck yourself.
And Tyler, if you want to play that game too, then let's compare what you do to Eminem. I mean, you're saying, oh, I just want to vibe out now. You know, stop developing, stop being great.
He's not telling him to not develop. I've told you this a million times, homie. He's telling him that yes, you can develop, but you're developing in a way where it's so goddamn complex and beyond the music that it doesn't even sound good anymore. How hard is that to understand? He's telling him, tone it down. That's it.
And you know what? Once Tyler's long gone, I'm sure Em will still be in a fucking wheelchair doing this shit, making music and just blowing our minds.
By the time Tyler dies, Eminem will probably have already passed away. Let's just be honest. So that's Knox and Stevie's video talked about. Guys, I respect your feelings, but please think about what you say before saying it. Now allow me to spread my own personal opinion on this whole Tyler situation. Tyler is not hating on Eminem whatsoever, guys. You need to calm down. Now, what Tyler means when he says, you know, stop, he's not telling him that he can't constantly improve his pen. He's not telling him to stop his career at all. What he's saying is that pretty much Emma's at a level where lyrically, no one can touch him. Technically, no one can touch him. As a rapper, he's at that level where he's just unparalleled. And yes, if you're a hip-hop head like me, that's perfectly fine to enjoy. That's something you enjoy. But what if you're someone who doesn't enjoy that? What if you're going to rap because you want good music? Well, I personally love a lot of his music. I think his music is good. But some people find the rapping so abrasive, so far ahead of the music, it's like, why listen to it? Because the rapping is all I'm hearing. I'm not hearing the production I want to hear. I'm not hearing the type of music I want to hear. Maybe I'm being a little confused here. I don't know exactly how to describe it in a way that seems logical. The way it works is M's at a level where pretty much his rapping takes the center stage. Sometimes he does things flow-wise or lyrically that some people find hard to listen to. It's not enjoyable. It's just bad to the ears. Whereas hip-hop heads, people like me, Knox, or Stevie, would enjoy it. General audiences would not enjoy that type of stuff. That type of stuff would just sound like, well, it would sound terrible to them. The thing with Tyler, he believes Eminem is obviously, yes, evolving, but the way he's evolved, there's no filter. Like, there's no musical filter in which he evolves. He needs to evolve in a way where, yes, obviously he's still skilled lyrically, but in a way where it works with the music. Yes, M naturally has evolved to an insane degree, but it doesn't seem to work with the music. Eminem has pretty much evolved to a point where his music is in like a limbo stage. Yes, he's incredible at rapping, but it's so advanced. Like, the words are what matter. Who cares about the music? Who cares about what it sounds like? All we care about is what he's saying. That's not what music should be. Music should be enjoyed. It shouldn't just be,
oh, he can say infinite lines in one word, and every syllable rhymes, and it's perfect, and it makes an incredible...
no. Like, that's not what it should be. Rap is an art form. It should be a lot more than just saying just like all this basic stuff. Yes, I don't personally care if he comes back to storytelling, but a lot of people want him to do that type of stuff. Stuff like King's Disease and all the new storytelling which Nas apparently has. People want to hear that. People want to hear M go back to the days where he could come up with, like, you know, where he's not just flexing himself. He's actually, like, you know, talking about stuff. Similar to Darkness. There's a reason Darkness was so big. It's because it had, like, a meaning behind it. It was more than just saying, oh, I'm awesome. People loved it because, you know, it was a simple storytelling. It had substance behind it. And there was so much that you could dig from that. People want more songs like Darkness, or, you know, they don't exactly want Stan, but they want songs of a similar caliber. They want storytelling. I'm not the type of person who thinks he should need to do that. I personally think he's fine the way he is. But I'm not against him doing stuff like that. I honestly think it would be cool to see him try new storytelling type tracks, or try just new stuff. I want to hear M come up with something new. Maybe that's impossible. Maybe he's at the point where there's nothing new he can talk about. But I want to try and see if there is something like that. I would love to hear M do something new. Something that, you know, works for him. The thing with Tyler is what he's saying about Eminem. M as a rapper is just on a level where it's not comprehensible. It's not, like, balanced. There's no balance. There's no control. There's no filter. All it is hip-hop. It's pure, unfiltered hip-hop. And some people can't handle that. Now, I get the hip-hop heads can, but other people can't. And I know M can't please everybody, but the one thing that people want him to do, the one thing people want from Eminem, is a consistent, solid project. And I know M can do that. And I just feel like maybe one day he could try and make something like that. And it's not too hard to do that. There are so many lyricists on a level which aren't even close to M, at least in my mind, who have done the same thing. Kendrick Lamar, you know, Denzel Curry, Joey Badass, Tyler himself. They can all do that. And in the case of Tyler, he's not even that insane lyrically. He's not a very lyrical artist. And he can make a project that I personally think is better than many of Eminem's projects. Stuff like Igor, Wolf, or even Goblin, which is probably one of his more lackluster projects. I think that's better than even the SSLP. And that says a lot. Look, I get it. People are upset by what Tyler says. And it is hard to understand. I mean, I'm struggling to word it properly in my own video, as you can clearly tell. But overall, what Tyler is saying isn't hateful towards Eminem. What he's saying is critical. He wants M to improve, obviously. He doesn't want M to just, you know, rap. It's not just about rapping, it's about the music. And the thing with M, his music doesn't sound cohesive. Oh hey, maybe Tyler does hate M. Who knows? We'll find out. Either way though, I think I've said my piece. I think I've gotten my own thoughts on the situation out of the way. With that all said, Knox, Stevie, please calm down. Tyler, I understand people probably are confused. Maybe, you know, word it a little bit more. And as for everybody else, if you enjoyed, leave a like. If you didn't enjoy, waste your time somewhere else. And for those who made it to the end, cheers and time.
And I'll be there for you. I know we don't have much, that don't matter to me. All I need, all I need, all I need, all I want is your love.
On the nights that no one's there, you always are. When the phone calls get ignored, I know you're never far.